So we are here with individualized programming athlete Joe Spencer here at Steelworks Strength Systems. Joe, if you could do us all a little favor, tell us a little bit about yourself and also how you kind of got into rowing.
Yeah, I grew up in Washington, D.C. That's where I started. I started when I was 13. Summer, when I was right before high school, my dad took me down to a little rowing club. Let me take a boat out, put it in the water, and like the first thing I flipped, fell in. But that was good, because once you get that over with, it's all the fear of falling in goes away, so you're kind of ready to take on the rest of it.
Sure. Okay. What is it about rowing that you really enjoy? Like why did you choose rowing after all? Because I'm sure you tried a lot of things, but why? Yeah. Why did you choose rowing?
I played, every sport that an adolescent in the U.S. plays, like soccer, hockey, football, lacrosse. Like, I tried everything. I think the one aspect of rowing that really hooked me was that everybody starts at the same spot. Like, you get your opportunity usually comes in high school or college, because not everybody can just walk into the YMCA and go rowing. Like in other sports, you can go to the basketball court and work on your skills, or just you're naturally fast, or you can jump high or something like that. So from really early on, there's differentiation in good and average athletes. But in rowing, everybody has a starting line, and there really is no like naturally talented, wonder kid that takes over. Everybody has that starting point, and from then on, it's all about work and how you approach your own development and how hard you work and how you develop your body. I mean, that's the ticket to progressing to higher levels. It's really not like, the big three sports where it's just all, the most talented kids just sort of like get picked and stuff like that.
Cool. So there's a very kind of egalitarian feel to it in terms of how people develop.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that the whole mindset is to train, make changes, modify, test yourself. You're constantly testing yourself, and then race. And then the result of the race dictates where you go from there. Like, you win, you keep going doing what you're doing. You lose, back to the drawing board and restart.
Sure.
And that whole cycle, that process, is what really makes it unique.
Cool. So you've been here at Steelworks Strength System for about 5 months now? So if you could kind of describe your experiences as a rower both before and after your training here, and how does it feel when you're out on the water after going through the individualized programming service that we offer here?
Yeah. Well, rowing is all about, like, making it at the top level in rowing is about doing something really violent. Like, you're essentially just trying to pull a tree out of the ground. But you have to do it in a really delicate way, like a smooth way. It's brute force, but body control at the same time. So if you don't have that core strength, like hip, glute, lower back strength, then you can't really get that. You can't really be going at those top speeds. And I think the biggest part of coming to Steelworks was that it's not like I hadn't done weights before. You know, like I've almost done 17 years of doing weights, and I'd never addressed the most necessary issues with like my strength and my core strength and all those things. And that was the biggest change when I came here, was that we immediately tackled the weaknesses and got everything balanced. And that allowed me to take the whole strength, like the comprehensive strength, to that next level and just really start making those gains. And rowing, that plays out in efficiency. Like
Sure.
if you're stronger, I mean, it's just a fact. Like if you get stronger, then it's easier to do that same pace, and you can even get better pace. You know, like the pacing gets easier, gets better, gets faster.
Sure. Can you share any specific measurable outcomes that you've improved upon since you've been training here? Like, I don't know, time trials, or like baseline workouts, strength increases, fat losses, muscle gains. Like, have you seen that actual quantifiable data?
Yeah, we do. I mean, we have a lot of data points in rowing. Everything is measured. Like, we have GPS on the water. We have the rowing machine. All that data is tracked. And so basically, I'd say across the board, I saw probably like, I'm going to say, depending on the test, like a 5% to 10%, like curve downward.
To most people, that doesn't sound like a big deal.
Well,
but in reality,
it's a game of seconds. Like, you win by 1/100th of a second. You lose by 1/100th of a second. So
5 to 10%
that's
jump.
huge.
Okay.
In training, you know, gains in training, those are huge because they trickle down into those small little percentage points for each split that, you know, that's a win or a loss.
Mm-hmm. So do you have any benchmark workout? Unfortunately, I had a little cut off with the phone there. But we were talking about some like measurable benchmarks that you noticed that were improving out on the water. So if you could share some of those results, whether they're time trials, you know, benchmark workouts, etc.
Yeah. On the water, I think I've definitely laid down some of my best times. I mean, there's a lot of variables on the water with weather and stuff, but in the pair and the single, in the straight four, just best times all over the place. But one thing we always go back to is a 30-minute test, which is gruesome, but it's a good way to just, it's all you have really. It's like, it's everything you got, and it's just a test of will, but it's also efficiency.
So 30 minutes, again, 30 minutes of just
30
rowing
minutes
as hard as you can.
At 20 strokes a minute, just cranking as hard as you can. And I had a personal best, and it was by like almost a split, so like 1 second on the split readout, which is pretty big. That's, you know, going a whole split, that would be like dropping a second in your 800 or something like that. You know, like.
So a split, so if you could share to us what a split is, like how long is a split?
Yeah, so a split is when you're on the rowing machine, you see that number, the big number is like 2:16 or, you know, 1:50 or something like that, and that's how quickly you can do 500 meters.
Oh, so it's a 500-meter split.
Right.
Gotcha.
So that's basically just the metric. That's how everybody.
Right.
That's the trading card everybody has.
Right.
Is like, what was your split for that?
So what was your 500-meter split on average for those for those 30 minutes?
Yeah, we've done it maybe a half dozen times, and I was going like 142, 142.4, 142.5, and then to go, I think it was 141.5. Like, that was huge. That was a huge jump because you know, if you're dialing into that 142, going that much faster is,
Sure.
you know, that's a big jump. And I think a lot of it is just that efficiency part of it, like gaining the strength here, getting all that, like all the metrics here are coming up, and you can't help but see it in your sport.
Cool. How would you describe your experiences as an individualized programming athlete here? Like, how has the community been, the coaching been, kind of just the overall feel of your time as an athlete here?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great blend of being, you know, I came here to get the personal touch, like the personal attention and that weightlifting wisdom, but it's also great to be part of the whole community and like meeting, like we moved here almost a year ago, and this has been the way that we've met everybody in our community, you know, like, and it's an up and coming community too, so that's been a great part of it. It's just, you know, having this place to meet everybody and introduce yourself and stuff. But the core of coming here was the training, and like having training with somebody who really knew what they were doing. But it was more than that. It's not just like, I think that the best part about coming here was having so many tools, like having so many different concepts and techniques and, you know, ideas to attack the deficiencies and to fix what needs fixing. I think that was really the first time I'd ever experienced anything like that. And so that was that was the biggest part. That was, you know,
Okay.
It was mighty great.
Cool. So, for any athlete that you might know, whether it's a fellow rower or another athlete who's like serious about a specific sport, and they've heard about this program, they're kind of on the fence about this, what advice would you have to offer them about the programming that you would get here? Like, what would you say to someone who's like, I've heard about this program, I don't know if I really need to commit to it, I can do stuff on my own?
Well, I think I spent years doing it on my own. And one thing I can tell you about doing it on your own is you're going to end up doing the same things over and over again. And there's one thing that everybody knows about doing something at a high level. It's that you cannot recycle. Like, you cannot get in that rut. Like, it's really hard to push yourself beyond the breaking point alone. And unless you're, you know, just happen to be certified as a weight instructor, which you probably aren't if you're thinking about it, then you don't have that many tools. You don't know the library of lifts. So you're gonna end up going back to your stalwarts, and you're just not gonna get anywhere. Like, you're gonna repeat yourself, you're gonna repeat weights, and you're just gonna spin your wheels. And that's the problem that this place addresses, is that it's always different, it's always new, and the culture here is about pushing beyond and pushing past what you came in, pushing past the limit that you came in with. And you just can't do that solo.
Cool. The last question I have for you is, who is Dave Taser, and is he still alive?
Okay, Dave Taser is the most alive of anybody, because he's like the spirit of Brewery Town, I think. He's a self-defense instructor, first of all. Well, sorry, he's a self-defense instructor second, and a patriot first.
Patriot, of course.
Okay? And his motto is tase first. So you
Yeah.
might, like when you're, all I'm going to say about Dave Taser is he's alive, and when you're walking down the street at night and it's kind of sketchy, just know that
He's got your back.
he's got your back,
He's there.
or you're going to get tased.
Or you...
But
Joe,
he's
Joe
got your back.
Spencer, never a dull moment. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for taking the time for this.